Just like Fergie said, big girls don't cry, but if you're in the form of Christopher Moltisanti, you will be greeting on the stage floor. Yes, we are back with episode 5 of season 2!
I'm glad you said his full name, because I don't think I could manage it, but...
Well, I know his full name, right? And I tell you what, this episode wasn't good, and I'm just going to leave that with you to linger there. It was bad.
I think it followed in suit with the rest of season 2, though.
Season 2, the only shining light has been Richie Aprile, and I actually forgot he existed.
Yeah, it appeared in this episode, and I was like, oh, there's that Richie guy.
Oh, Tony's at his door, but it's not actually his door, it's Janice's door.
Yeah, I legit thought, it's not even that, it's different. Someone can maybe not be in an episode, but he didn't even get a mention.
I know, I didn't get that.
It was like, the storylines don't seem to... There's like no continuality with these stories. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And like, Tony walks into the house, right? I know we're skipping ahead, but I just want to address this. Richie Aprile, he wants to come out and make himself out to be top man, and he's sleeping on a fucking mattress in the front room of a house that he has nothing to do with. Like, I know he was in prison. Maybe you say, oh, beggars can't be choosers, but what the fuck? He's supposed to be top man. He's Jackie Aprile's brother, for fuck's sake. He should come out and have a bit.
No, but that's not what I got from it. I got from it that he's purposely trying to stay with Janet.
No, that's what he is doing. I'm just saying it looks... Him just sleeping on the couch, on a mattress in the front room, looks a bit pish on his behalf, but I know exactly what he's doing, right? But I'm glad Richie's back. That's what I'm getting at. But guess what? There's also somebody else's back. Furio! Furio has arrived from Italy. And basically the intro to this episode was Christopher Moltisanti, full name again, whoa, breaks it, no, I would say breaks it, he goes into this whorehouse and demands, I can't remember what the guy's name was it Ricardo or something?
He demands the money, and he gives him, I could even tell with the amount of notes that he gave Christopher, it wasn't a lot.
It was an envelope that had his thickness of an Ethiopian man, there was hee-haw on it, name it. And the guy's currently painting a 1996 Williams Formula 1 car, which I thought was a nice wee touch. But Christopher threatens him, grabs the paintbrush, sticks it up his nose. But you can just see the contrast here between Christopher and Furio. Like, Furio goes in and fucking means business, and his wife, the arse drops on her. When Christopher did it, she's like, I phone police now! Get the fuck out, Christopher! Christopher also accusing this guy of being a junkie. He's very hypocritical, but, you know, guess he is wasting their money.
Can you not see maybe Christopher's point of view? It's like he doesn't want to rough the guy up too much because then he can't work.
I get that, but this business is going to make money without this guy, isn't it?
Maybe.
It's not like dead people can't pay money, but if Christopher killed this guy, they could still easily get money at this business.
And I suppose it's not like the first time he was short. Christopher did mention
3 weeks in a row.
Months.
3 months?
I think he said 3 months in a row.
Fuck! Tony Soprano's crew's looking a wee bit weak.
Yeah.
3 months late? Come on, man. 3 weeks I thought was bad. 3 months?
Yeah.
Damn. But Artie's restaurant.
Speaking of Tony's crew, does he not make adjustments?
This is before he makes adjustments, alright. Tony's sitting in Artie's restaurant. He's with Polly and Silvio. And Artie's wife obviously got a bit of disdain, does not like the fact that Tony's crew hangs out and gets food for free, which I guess is a valid point. Tony then goes to Artie, says, right, I've got this guy coming over, he's from Italy. Can you have him work for you? So basically, he wants to use Furio in Artie's restaurant to get Furio's like citizenship.
Yep.
So it's like legit, which is fair enough, but also Tony says he's going to pay Furio's wages, and you can just see...
Yeah, but is Furio really going to be working, or is it just going to be...
on paper?
Yeah.
It's probably like he does like an hour every week. And he was smoking over the pasta, which I thought was funny, but...
Yeah.
Not exactly spectacular, but Furio, I think, is a good introduction to the cast. I've said this before. You look at Tony's crew, they all look fat, out of shape, or scrawny.
Furio looks like big. You can handle him. Furio looks like the kind of guy that would take on Seagal.
Yeah. Aye.
Steven Seagal. I mean, he probably wouldn't get any offense in, like, but...
Is there anyone in Tony's crew you look at and go, Furio would struggle?
No, I
mean, Tony's got a rage that I think...
Tony's a big fucking baby man-child, though, isn't he? Like, if we're being honest.
He is, and I tell you what, the scene at the phone is horrendous.
I would have to say out of Tony's crew, I would just assume Christopher, even though he's like... You know, I just assume he's the better fighter of them all, just...
Aye, due to his age and... physicality, like his physique. He's young.
Who's the other guy? Silvio?
I just don't back Silvio to do anything.
Silvio, like, he's kind of about the same age as Tony, and he's in better shape than Tony, but...
Yeah, he's about 8 years older than Tony.
Is he? Silvio?
Yeah. Silvio's about late 40s. Tony's like late.
But didn't
30s.
Silvio and Tony grow up together? And they're kind of like same generation?
Well, I mean 8 years, I'd say.
Who's the other one, the older
Paulie,
one?
he's a bit older.
He's like...
He's served in Vietnam. Although the actor died and he was like 80, so he's old enough. Wee Paulie Walnuts, but... Right, so...
Wait, hold on. Are you saying Silvio in real life's 8 years older, or are you saying his character's 8 years older?
No, in the show he is supposed to be older than Tony.
Alright, fair enough.
But in real life, he is... In real life, he would be 12 years older than Tony. Because he does wear a wig, Silvio. So, anyway, but he's 72 in real life. He looks alright for his age. I'm not bashing the guy too much. But essentially, like...
No, I wasn't bashing him. I just thought him and Tony... I thought they came up together. I thought they were from, like, the same era, same
they
generation.
are from the same era.
Whereas, I believe Paulie is, like, the last...
But Big Sal as well is from... Big Sal, Silvio, and Paulie all worked for Tony's dad, but they obviously... Tony's been in the crew for... At this point, Tony's probably been in the crew. Well, they did bring out a prequel movie that I guess we'll watch after. It'll make a bit more sense watching it after than later, but yeah, right. Tony then answers the phone in his house while he's eating cereal, because he is always eating. And it turns out Janice is trying to put a loan out on her house, and turns out she used the wrong security number, to which Tony has an absolute meltdown and starts greeting. He's like, that bitch.
It's weird. He takes it. He like rips the phone off the hook and throws it, and it fucking hits AJ, and
then it lands in the dishwasher.
And then what's his wife called again?
Carmela.
Carmela's just telling like AJ go to your room. Why about Tony gives a wee apology here?
And then he does attempt to give an apology to AJ, so he storms upstairs and goes, hey, that was Radio Shack on the phone. I'm checking out durability for them. I mean, come on. He doesn't even believe it himself. He's like, fuck, I was pissed. And walks away.
AJ just looks up and he fucks off. It's like, see when that attempt at an apology didn't work, should you not have been like, yeah, sorry, son, shouldn't have?
No, but see, it's not an attempt at apology. No, it is. I don't even think
break the silence.
I don't even think it's an attempt at a joke. I think they're trying to show here that when they used to lie to AJ about where his dad worked, he was dumb and young and not able to figure out.
And now he understands.
Yeah, like why his dad's like this psycho, and like I think that's what they're kind at. He was treating him like a kid, and AJ looked at him like, I know you're lying. So that's what I got.
Right,
and then Tony was like, well, fuck this.
No point continuing the lie if he's not believing it.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. Right, but then, right, next scene, he meets with Paul. He basically says, right, our friend's over, so he's getting promoted to soldier. You're capo. Silvio's my consigliere, but Big Sal, he's no more. And do you not feel like there should be questions the why
Big Sal is pussy, yeah?
Aye. So basically Tony's making him just a jobber. He's not at the same table as them.
What was the order previously?
I would say they were all pretty similar. Apart from like Silvio was more of Tony's right hand man.
I remember you telling me not so long ago they were all like capos and they were all pretty close to the same level as Tony. But obviously Tony's went up a gear since Junior.
Tony and Junior were capos to that Jackie Aprile guy, right? But obviously he died and then Junior was made boss, but because Junior was never really boss because Tony viewed himself as boss and Junior's was in jail, they were kind of Tony's capos, but they weren't actually capos, if you know what I mean. They were just as free men.
But they may as well be. They were capos without the title.
Yes, that's what I was. But now, officially, Paulie is a capo, so's Silvio, but he's like Tony's right-hand man. Well, Big Sal's nothing. He's just like a... Wait, so is
Big Sal being demoted, or is he just not being promoted?
He's just not... It's kind of a demotion, but it's not really a demotion. He's like a less level than Furio, despite the fact Furio is now...
So what's Furio?
Furio's like soldier. But sure, later on in the episode when Paulie meets with Johnny Sack, Big Sal's told not to sit at the table while Furio is. So that tells me Furio's above Big Sal.
That's great. Alright, okay.
But Big Sal's been jobbed out, right? But there's no one asked the question here. Like, why is Tony doing this? We know why why do you think Tony's doing this?
He's still got suspicions that he's a rat.
Exactly, right, which he's right to think. But surely, like, Paulie and Silvio should be like, here, Tony, that ain't right. I know Tony's top man, but, like, why are you leaving him to the side? Obviously, they're making more money, so they're going to be, like, not really kept. But I thought it's supposed to be a close-knit community. And they're kind of, I say community, group, faction.
But yeah, that's what I mean, like, in the past, like, Big Sal would never have been told to leave.
Yeah, so this is the point where it's Tony's made it affect you. You're below us, a wee bit below us, but I think he's done Big Sal wrong, personally.
And will Big Sal take this up with Tony? Do you think he'll call him out on it?
He might call him out. I mean, we've seen him talking to the agent basically discussing his distent at the fact that Paulie and Silvio are now better, higher ranked.
But doesn't Big Sal realise there's a reason why Tony's done this? Can he really... If he has a rat, can he...
He doesn't have a foot to stand on.
Yes, I mean, can he really be surprised? Like, if anything, wouldn't this worry Big Sal and he'd be looking for a way out? Or
Exactly.
Shouldn't Big Sal be thinking, hold on here, the fact that I've been demoted and I'm now below this Furio guy, Tony must still have suspicions about me?
If he confronted Tony and Tony said, here, you went AWOL when I needed you the most, I think that'd be fair enough.
Yeah.
He's like, you're under probation, so to speak. But Big Sal is kinda on the same level as Chris. Chris ain't a made guy yet, where you get the whole ceremony and the prick of blood. But I'd say Tony trusts Christopher way more despite him being a junkie.
Well, Tony doesn't really know he's a junkie, does he?
I guess he does that a wee bit. Like a wee, so he probably has a wee inkling that he's a junkie. We have a big say homecoming party. Furio's arrived, so we've got a big party for Furio. Sal's like, you can see here that he's not too happy. He's like, Furio, what sort of name's that? Junior and Bobby then show up. Carmela opens the door and then just slams the door in their face because obviously, Junior had Tony attempted to be killed, but shouldn't Tony be the one answering the door to his house and determine whether or not these guys are allowed in?
True, but I mean, Carmela is his wife and it is her house as well. I mean,
yes, but I mean, this is like mob families where the man is the man.
Yeah, no, but Tony's busy celebrating with Furio. But Tony would have probably done the same thing, no?
I don't know, he's kind of alright with Junior now. He picked him up like a baby at his fucking shore.
No, yeah, you can say the man is the man, but I still believe in the household that the woman has a big say, the wife has a big say.
If she doesn't want Junior either, that's fair enough.
Yeah, no, I think...
But Junior just got treated like a jobber here. Door slammed, that was it. He walked away with his wee pie. Pie out the door.
Alongside, who's he with? His name?
Bobby. Big fat Bobby.
Big Bobby!
Bobby Big is there. You know his dad's Paulie. Rocky.
Was it?
He'll be in it soon. Don't worry about Big.
Dunno.
What's his name? Burt Young?
Burt Reynolds.
No, it's not Burt Reynolds, it's Burt Young. Burt Reynolds. Somebody fucking completely...
Apologies.
Right.
I don't know my Burts.
And... I mean, what we've talked about here is kind of interesting, but the ranks being changing, but the episode itself wasn't good. I feel like there was too much of this Dr. Melfi seeing her own psychiatrist.
I feel like the ranks would... I think the ranks would be a pretty cool thing if they actually, like, showed that. Like in Sons of Anarchy, where there's rankings, but I just feel like that will never really be brought up again. Like, I could be wrong.
No, they do. But in Sons, it's like...
Really make this
you sit at a table, it's in the order of what it really is. And they've got the patch on them. I think it just looks better in Sons, doesn't it? Like when it says VP, I'm not saying he can walk around and says, "Oh, I'm a soldier."
So hold on. So let's say, for example, Tony calls a meeting, and Silvio comes. What's the older guy? Paulie comes. Big Sal comes. Furio comes, and Christopher comes, and they're talking. What level do they need to get to? What do they need to start talking about for Tony to go? Here's Sal, Chris, piss off.
Well, that's it though. That's exciting.
Yeah, no, but like, where do they draw the line? Where all right, only the guys with this level of authority can stay.
But see, is it a level of authority, or is it a problem with the fact I think you're a rat, mate? I don't really want you knowing any of this.
Because did he not take Christopher to? Did he not take Christopher to Italy?
Exactly. Yeah. What do you think would be a big thing?
Now, could you not argue that he should only have took Capos to Italy?
Yeah, I'd argue that. I mean, Christopher's not a made guy, and he got took.
So why didn't he take Silvio? Son of his right hand man.
Exactly. No, I agree.
Why was Silvio left in America?
The run, look after things. I don't know. I totally agree with that though.
Maybe to run, look after things. I guess you could argue that.
Yep. But yeah, right. So Tony shows up at Janice's house. Richie answers the door. He's walking about with a fork in his bare feet and like the most jobber sleepwear you'll ever see. And then basically he says, "Me and Janice have got history together." And Tony says, "Yes, so did Israel and fucking Palestine," which I thought was a good line for Tony. And then, like, you see Richie, he's like, "I'm not going to let you slaver about your sister anymore." And he turns around with the fork. It was like, oh, is he going to stab Big? You can clearly see here there's a massive size difference between these two.
Yeah.
If push comes to shove, Tony's fucking killing him.
Yeah, I mean, could they not have got someone a bit bigger to play Richie Appeal? Or is Tony a big guy? But I think everyone in Tony's crew is pretty big, aren't they?
See, like, they're big, but they're not like... Tony's is probably about 6'1". That's not big.
Well, not big, but what I mean, I think they're not that much smaller than Tony.
Aye. But Richie is.
Probably
Richie's
the
just
smallest.
a
I'd say the smallest guy in Tony's crew is Silvio.
Yeah, yes, Silvio would be. And then basically, Tony says, "Why are you going after Janice? There was better looking men in the can than my sister." Which again, he's fucking burying his sister here, and Richie.
I thought that was very harsh, like, but
see, Tony knows. Tony knows why Richie's doing it. Richie probably no, well, he knows why he's doing it, but it's like they're never really going to admit that. Janice comes through, and then Tony basically just going ballistic here, and he's like berating both of them, and he's like, "Well, fuck this, I'm away, man. I'm not going to waste any more time here." Dr. Melfi, right, and I feel like these scenes were just weren't necessary in a 51-minute episode. She's seeing her psychiatrist like, he was taking panic attacks while driving. Then we see Tony, he's going, his fucking face plants the steering wheel. Did you care for these scenes? Because I didn't.
no.
I just don't get this. Like, why the fuck? Tony can see a psychiatrist, right? And I actually feel like it's a good way of, like, Tony letting off some steam and explaining certain stuff to, like, a person in the outside world. And it's like there's some funny scenes and good stuff to be out of it. But I don't understand why, like, we need to see so much of her talking to her psychiatrist. Is that necessary?
Yeah, I don't really care. To me, she's a minor. I don't really care about her.
Yeah, she's Tony's psychiatrist.
Her talking to a psychiatrist doesn't advance anything. Because she's just a character that's there for Tony, in my opinion.
Yeah, no,
I don't really feel like that advances the show.
Not literally. But again, Tony begins seeing her again as a psychiatrist, so is it all good in the hood? Yeah. Who knows? But Christopher, he's in an acting class. And did you like these acting bits?
I thought they did offer a bit of humour. Like, I thought they were the best parts of the show.
They were. It's weird seeing acting in acting, though.
Yeah.
Some of it was awful, but it's kind of...
Well, I think they make it awful to differentiate from the actual show. Because they don't want to do acting that... If you do acting, then you might not know what's acting and what's the show.
Exactly.
I think that they purposely make all acting scenes in a TV show, they purposely make bad.
Yeah, so Christopher gets very emotional during one scene where he's like holding on to the guy's legs and then like he starts crying. And then he leaves because obviously he's a bit embarrassed. Like, how did you make yourself cry?
He also turned up late with no pen, no paper.
Stole a bit of paper off someone, and then he ends up battering a guy as well, which, like, we'll see this...
You're going to have a conversation using the letters only A and B. And the guy goes, A, and Christopher just decks him, punches him a few times and walks out.
You dropped your fucking oranges. Like... Christopher's, like, throughout the show, he's always in.
Yeah, that scene was funny. Like, so the guy comes over, Christopher's playing a police officer. The guy's like, I've got something for you. And the guy's supposed to be, like, carrying oranges. And he reaches into his pocket. And Christopher's words are, you dropped your fucking oranges. I mean, if you're a police officer and someone's approaching you and they go into their pockets, I mean, that normally means, yo, hands up.
Put your hands where I can see it.
Not, you've dropped your oranges, like, but...
I know. Tony's psycho tyrant continues because Irina is feeding ducks. I think it was like what do you call them? Cheese. What do you call
cheese
it?
Puffs.
Cheese puffs or something, right?
And Tony cares about the ducks. You can't be feeding his little ducks harmful products.
And then there was like a Russian guy on a boat, and he basically starts speaking to Irina in Russian. But turns out she's from Kazakhstan. But I guess at this point the Cold War wasn't long over, and like the USSR was a big deal back in the late 90s, 2000, you know, it's like, oh, we're all broke up territory, so we all still kind of identify as Russian sort of deal. Then Tony's like, what the fuck's he saying? A lot of words for just that, and then he storms over, and you think, right, what's Tony squares up to, and you think, right, is he just going to deck this guy? And then he just grabs him by the balls. Thoughts on that?
Bit gay, hey Tony, like.
I don't get scenes like this where people... I don't... Like, what if this guy grabbed Tony's balls first?
Sexual assault.
And honestly, then Tony storms off. And he's like, right, we have to get out of here. And then when he's talking, he talks to Dr. Melfi about it. He's like, I had to get out of there, or else like Carmel would have found it. Or was he talking to her or Hesh? I can't remember. He's talking to Hesh and Dr. Melfi. Then Hesh is like, well, your dad used to take these fits too. It turns out his dad's a mental health patient as well.
They're all mentally ill.
Mentally ill bastards. Hesh's like, I had my suspicions you were seeing a shrink. I like Hesh, but again, Tony just complaining about his mental health throughout this episode is basically the gist of it. And then we do have the good... I think the best scene of the episode is when Furio goes in to the whorehouse and basically just destroys it, shoots the guy in the knee, and the blood like spurts up, hits him in the face. And then he starts speaking in Italian and he just decks her like twice. Then he just smashes the plate and then leaves. I thought that was really good. I like that.
Yeah, Furio.
Furio.
Not a man to be messed with.
Definitely not. And that is basically where this episode ends. Not an awful lot happens. Big Sal's raging about what's going on, really. He's been demoted essentially, and even as the agent he's saying is like, oh, that happened to me, some Puerto Rican got a higher role than me in the police. You almost feel like these two are like best friends.
Yeah, Samoan I think he was, but
Samoan, Puerto Rican.
It's time for us to demote the rating of this show.
You know what? See us describing it. It didn't actually
wasn't as bad. I'm gonna get a 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a 5.
Solid. Mid card 5.
Was it better than the Italy episode?
I actually preferred it to the Italy episode.
I can't remember what we gave the Italy episode. Was it 4.5? I think.
I thought the Italy episode was pretty boring.
Yeah, I feel like important stuff happened in this episode, but I feel like half of it didn't need to happen.
No, basically the entire Italy episode was basically focused on getting a deal with cars and just negotiating the price a little bit. I mean,
see, apart from Furio coming over, that's irrelevant now. It will not get mentioned.
Yeah.
So who knows what happens, guys? But anyway, leave your thoughts down below. It is a 5. I'm giving it a 5 too. So 5 out of 10. Tell you what, the average rating for season 2, we're 5 episodes in. That's a total out of 50. I would say it's close to about. It'd be about 28. I'd say. I'd say about 28. We're at 30. Because I know we gave the one where Richie appeared like an 8 or a 9. But yeah, it's not too good for this show, guys. But anyway, we'll be back with episode 6. I can't remember what it's called, but we'll be back soon. But until then, big girls don't cry, but Tony greets because he's a big girl.